Well, in today's video, we're going to be comparing and shooting the 22 Hornet, the 17 Hornet, and 22 mag. Now, before you get too worked up, don't worry. I do not intend to tell you that the 22 mag is somehow on par with the 22 Hornet or 17 Hornet. But by the same token, I do realize that not everyone has had a chance to shoot a 22 Hornet or 17 Hornet. But a lot of us have had a chance to shoot 22 mag and maybe even grew up shooting 22 mag. So I figured we should include it kind of as a good common reference point. In fact, if you're considering upgrading from a 22 mag, but maybe the likes of the 223, the 22-250, or the 204 Ruger or something in there, if that's too much of an upgrade for what the situation calls for, then a 22 Hornet and 17 Hornet are really some fantastic in-between options that should not be underestimated. So we're going to start by chronographing two different ammo choices for each of these three cartridges. Two for the 22 mag, two for the 22 Hornet, and two for the 17 Hornet. We're going to chronograph those, get our speed data, bring those numbers right back in here, kind of crunch the numbers a little bit, compare the numbers, and then go right back out into the field and put those numbers to the test. We'll hit a steel spinner target, or at least attempt to. We'll shoot that at 100 yards and kind of see how those numbers translate in the real world. If you like today's video, please remember to hit the like button and do subscribe and turn on the notifications bell if you have not already done so. And as always, we're looking forward to your comments as well. Thank you again. Okay, for comparison's sake, here is the ammunition that we'll be shooting today. From left to right, we've got the 22 mag. This is going to be the 40 grain Total Metal Jacket by CCI. Then we've got the 30 grain Hornady VMAX. Next up, we've got 22 Hornet. This will be a 45 grain soft point made by PPU. Then also in 22 Hornet, we've got the 35 grain Hornady VMAX. Then in 17 Hornet, we've got the 25 grain hollow point. And also from Hornady, this will be a 20 grain VMAX bullet. This is the Hornady Superformance. Getting ready to shoot 22 mag. This will be the 40 grain Total Metal Jacket by CCI. (1746) 1746. (1860) 1860. (1787) 1787. Getting ready to shoot the 22 Magnum. This will be the 30 grain Hornady VMAX. 30 grain Hornady VMAX. (2229) 2229. (2215) 2215. (2196) 2196. Getting ready to shoot 22 Hornet, 45 grain soft point. (2600) 2600. (2592) 2592. (2479) 2479. Getting ready to shoot 22 Hornet. This will be the 35 grain ballistic tip Hornady Varmint Express. 3075 3075. to shoot 17 Hornet 25 grain hollow point. This is from Hornady. It's about 64 degrees Fahrenheit, about 34% humidity today. Getting ready to shoot the Hornady Superformance 17 Hornet 20 grain VMAX. It's about 64 degrees presently, 34% humidity. $37.20, $37.20. $37.07, $37.07. All right, so here's what we uncovered out there. When we shot the 22 mag 40 grain total metal jacket by CCI, it had an average velocity of about 1798 feet per second, yielding 287 foot-pounds of energy. Now the manufacturer tells us that it should be around 1875 feet per second. So it didn't quite live up to manufacturer claims there. When I moved over into the 22 mag 30 grain VMAX by Hornady, the manufacturer tells us that it should be right around 2200 feet per second. I definitely found that to be the case. 2213 feet per second on average, 326 foot-pounds of energy. When I moved into the 22 Hornet 45 grain soft point by PPU, they did not tell me on the box what I should be looking for an average velocity. So here goes. I found that it was about 2557 feet per second on average, yielding 653 foot-pounds of energy. When I shot the 22 Hornet 35 grain VMAX, this was the Varmint Express. The box tells me it should be right around 3070. I found that that was definitely true. 3112 feet per second and on my average speed, yielding 752 foot-pounds of energy. When I moved into the 17 Hornet 25 grain hollow point, the box tells me that it should be right around 3375. I found that it averaged 3365. I think I can definitely live with that. That delivers 628 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. On the 17 Hornet 20 grain offering, this was the Hornady Superformance. The box tells me it should be right around 3650 foot per second or feet per second. I found that it was 3721 feet per second, yielding 614 foot-pounds of energy. Now here's some other interesting numbers. At 200 yards, you'll find that your 22 Hornet bullets, no matter which one of these two you select from, they're both going to be a dead heat, right around 200 foot-pounds of energy. When you move into the 17 Hornet cartridges, though, at 200 yards, they're both a little bit above 300 foot-pounds of energy. So what, about a 50% increase in energy at 200 yards? That is noticeable. Some concerning numbers that I saw out there was from the 22 Hornet 45 grain. The PPU Ammo had a spread of 121 feet per second. Again, the spread is just the difference between the high and the low. The fastest bullet to the slowest bullet was 121 feet per second difference. Another large spread on the 22 mag 40 grain by CCI, 114 feet per second difference between the high and the low. Some of the more respectable and encouraging numbers out there, especially considering we're dealing with factory ammo, was the 22 mag 30 grain VMAX by Hornady, spread 33 feet per second difference. That's really respectable, especially for factory ammo and for rimfire. When we moved into the 17 Hornet 25 grain, a spread of 32 feet per second, and then 29 feet per second on the 17 Hornet 20 grain offering. As far as how these are going to hit at 100 yards, I'm anticipating 152 foot-pounds of energy to be delivered from the 22 mag 40 grain total metal jacket. I'm anticipating 136 foot-pounds of energy to be delivered from the 30 grain VMAX 22 mag. And then we should see a real step up in punch out there when we go into the 22 Hornet 45 grain. It should arrive with about 372 foot-pounds of energy. The 35 grain VMAX 22 Hornet should arrive with about 407 foot-pounds of energy. The 17 Hornet 25 grain should arrive with about 448 foot-pounds of energy. And then 439 foot-pounds of energy is to be expected from the 20 grain 17 Hornet. Getting ready to shoot this steel spinner target. The distance will be 100 yards. We'll be shooting 22 mag, 40 grain total metal jacket by CCI. All right, walking up right now to the steel spinner. It was just now hit a 40 grain total metal jacket 22 mag. Getting ready to shoot this steel spinner target with a Hornady 30 grain VMAX 22 mag. Distance 100 yards. Okay, this is where we just now hit the steel spinner target. The bullet hit right there is the 30 grain Hornady VMAX. Here's your 40 grain total metal jacket. No real deformation into the steel at all. Getting ready to shoot the steel spinner target with a 22 Hornet 45 grain soft point. Distance 100 yards. Okay, this is the steel spinner target that has just been hit with a 45 grain right here by my thumb. A decent little indentation, 45 grain soft point, 22 Hornet at 100 yards. Getting ready to shoot the steel spinner target with 22 Hornet Superformance 35 grain ballistic tip. Distance 100 yards. Alright, so right here where my thumb is at, this is where the 22 Hornet 35 grain VMAX just now hit the steel spinner target right there, right on the edge. Did maybe a little bit more damage than the 45 grain, I would say. Not a lot, but a little more. Be shooting this steel spinner target from a distance of 100 yards with a 17 Hornet Superformance 20 grain VMAX bullet. Alright, right by my thumb, that's your 20 grain 17 Hornet at a distance of 100 yards. Notice it's about the same type of diameter, same size diameter as the 22 Hornet 35 grain was at that same distance. Looks like about the same depth as well. Not much difference that I can tell on that one. We'll be shooting this steel spinner target from a distance of 100 yards with a 17 Hornet 25 grain hollow point by Hornady. Alright, so if you're into accuracy at all, it doesn't get a whole lot more accurate than where my thumb is at. This is the steel spinner target, just now hit at 100 yards. 17 Hornet 25 grain. That is a deep crater put in there. It almost punched through, but not quite. Again, this one here was the 17 Hornet 20 grain. This one was the 35 grain 22 Hornet, 45 grain 22 Hornet. This one was a 22 mag. This one was also a 22 mag. If you look at the back, the largest dimple that's there is from the 25 grain 17 Hornet. And let me see if I can just pull this thing out of the ground. If you look closely, you can see dimples from the others. There's a 22 Hornet, and I believe this one is also a 22 Hornet dimple. I believe that's the 17 Hornet dimple right there. Yep. Hold on. Actually, that's it's a 22 Hornet dimple. 22 Hornet dimple on the edge. Down here is a 17. Yeah, that's our 17 Hornet dimple right there. And here's our largest dimple from the 17 Hornet as well.